Hey guys, my name's David, I'm Alois's editor. It's kinda late right now, but I need to get this video done before school. So I made this new video idea called Send Me Your VODS. Basically, Alois will review 5 minutes of your gameplay for free, and I'll quizify on top of it to give you short, bite-sized memory prompts for you to remember easily. All you have to do is post it to our new subreddit, which link will be in the description. Okay guys, let's dive into it.
So, let's go into this game together. It's from Brace. You all know Brace probably, right? Right here, Mr. Brace. He's active in our chat. So I see a GP with having Flash Ignite and Resolve with First Strike. I see an Elise that has Grasp, okay? And we have an Evelyn. So from the get-go, right? The first thing we should be noticing here is that Evelyn is a full clearing jungler, right? She needs level 6 before she can really start ganking. She's not that strong in the early game, whereas Elise is a very strong early game jungle, right? She can already get level 3, that kind of stuff. So the most important thing this game is keeping in mind that our jungler is not as offensive in the early game, and this guy is offensive in the early game. Brace beat me at the 1v1 in VFP. Okay, so now let's go. Okay. So he goes long sword 3, exactly the same start I would do. He gets a late ward in here. This late ward is very important. The reason we do this late ward, or this early ward rather, is because now we know what Elise will be doing in the early game, right? So a few bits of information we have here. First of all, we know that Evelyn is going to be pathing from top, right here, into bot, right? He's going to be pathing from Raptors, rep off probably Krugs, and pathing into bot. He could also do Raptors, Krugs, rep off, and path into bot. Elise is doing the exact same thing. Both junglers are pathing into bot this game. And what that means is that on the first 4 waves in top lane, there's not going to be any jungle interaction, right? Simply because there's no junglers, they're both pathing to bot. Now, Elise could do a weird clear where she would do like blue buff, Gromp, Woos, and still gank top. However, at least her entire bot set exposed, and your only job is to survive, and the game's pretty much over from there. So, let's see. So he drags the wave here. Do you guys agree with Dragon the Wave? Now, Dragon the Wave here is fine because GP loses one last hit, right? Actually, he doesn't. He comes back in time. Also, another thing he should have been noticing here is with the ward he has, he actually sees the GP walking like this. He can see GP right now, path like this into the river, right? So there's two things that he's already done wrong here. First of all, GP is walking like here through the river. Can GP face check at Riven level 1 here? He cannot, right? Riven hard wins the extended fight here against the GP level 1, even without bone plating. So Riven right now should just be standing here. And then if Riven goes and stand in this bush, right here, like a little bit down, right? If Riven goes and stand in this bush right here, paths down here, GP is forced to walk all the way around. And when he's forced to walk all the way around, he will lose minions for sure, right? Because right now, the situation we're in is GP is walking right here, right? This is GP right now. He's walking right here. However, if Riven stops him here and GP is not allowed to enter, the only way of getting back to the wave is like this. He has to walk all the way around. So I think Riven right now should just be pathing into the river like this. Now let's say GP was just going normally like this. Let's say he was pathing like this. I would want Riven to hit the wave. Why would I want Riven to hit the wave and create priority, guys? Why would I want that? Answers. Like you said, you want priority, lane control, because ranged can't trade. Exactly, right? The thing is, GP against Riven is kind of a hard matchup to play in the early game, right? Because he can perma Q poke Q. So what you want to do here is just get the priority and make sure you get your level 2 first. If you get your level 2 first, even though against GP you can kind of contest the level 1, right? But one of my rules I always say is if you're level 2 first against a losing matchup, it becomes a winning matchup simply because you're level 2 first. So if GP gets Prio, he can get this level 2 first, he can sit on a barrel and permanently Q poke Q and also sit on a barrel. You're never able to walk up for last hit anymore. Whereas if you get the priority, GP has to focus on last hitting whilst you're pushing, right? Because you have more means, you get your level 2 first, GP cannot focus on harassing you, therefore it's very free for you to farm. So I don't like him losing, just giving the priority here. Now what his intention is to drag all the minions and make them all target onto this, right? So that he loses 1 EXP. However, I don't think it's worth it. He should be playing for priority and he should have never allowed GP to cross here. So now GP actually gets Prio. Also, GP just used passive. Although he has bone plating. Do we win this trade right here, if Riven were to go onto him? Absolutely. Riven has Q auto, Q auto, Q auto. GP can only Q here with an auto attack. Riven should be trying to trade here. Why? This wave is already pushing towards us. We want to also AoE the wave to get it back into us. And both journals are pathing towards bot. So we hard trade here. We should always trade here. Nice. No, but did you commit? It's fine to trade more here. But he uses... He traded very poorly. So you guys tell me, look at the trade, what went wrong? What did I go wrong for the trade here? Okay. He queued twice without auto. That's it. Exactly, Jerome. If you, as Riven, use 2 Qs to gap close, then you will, generally speaking, always lose the trade, especially against ranged champions. So right here, he's actually in range right now to just auto attack. Look, the GP is walking up. So right now he can just auto, Q auto, Q auto, right? But now he skips this auto attack, so he loses 1 auto attack here of damage, right? And then he Qs again. Now only 1 auto and Qs out. So instead of Q auto, Q auto, Q auto, she did Q, Q auto and Q out. So she lost 3 auto attacks worth of damage. 3 auto attacks. Imagine Riven did 3 more auto attacks here, which he could have. This trade would have been monster good, right? And the GP is already chunked to half HP. No bone plating. Let's say you also play for your level 2 then. This wave is completely different to play. So already from the level 1 here, I don't like how she's played it. She lost way too much HP. She gets space here, gets another Q auto in the face. And the wave is pushing towards her. Gets another Q. So now the lane is already a lot tougher to play. GP passive comes back. GP gets level 2 first. And you see, this is the problem, right? When GP gets the priority, how does Riven play now? She lost 2 potions. Sure, GP did as well, but GP is full HP, has the level 2. GP is not under any pressure right now. Alright. So Evelyn is doing a 3 camp clear into top. So GP gets punished by the clear here. Now, what should GP do? If you're in GP's shoes right now, what do you think GP should do? Slow push and set up dive with Elise. It will never be a dive because Elise is pathing into bot. So here, this is super important, right? GP has already established Prio after the first wave, right? So since GP has the priority, that means he'll get his level 2 first, that means he'll get his level 3 first, and ultimately also his level 4 first. Now another good thing to mention here is that this wave is actually still very centered. It's even more close to his lane than Riven lane, right? So if Riven wants to walk over any last hit here, Riven has to walk into a barrel, and she's just completely screwed. So what the GP actually should do here is slow push. So what GP should do here is just keep the slow push going. This is the second wave. He slow pushes to the third wave. And I think if he last hits at the latest frames possible, he will actually also get the 4th wave in. And then after clearing the third, so he gets wave 3, wave 4 in, sorry, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 slow pushes. He crashes it. Then Riven is in a doomed position. Because the thing is, if GP slow pushes here and crashes it into the turret, what can Riven do? Riven would have 2 options, right? Riven would have to catch the wave, obviously, because it's going to be 2.5 waves underneath her turret. But then after she's done catching the waves, what can Riven do? Because GP is going to come back with a Sheen. So Riven has 2 options. She either recalls, because she cannot play the bounce, because GP is going to have bigger item lead, right? And she's already lost so much HP, and GP will probably still poke her a little bit during this laning phase too. Or she has to try and stay and push it out, but she can't, because if GP plays consistently here, if GP does right here, slow push, slow push, slow push, gets it to crash into the turret, recalls, Riven is forced to collect all the waves here on the turret, right? There's going to be 3 waves here, and whilst GP is already walking back, now she's cleared the wave, now she has to make a choice, right? Do I try and stay for this push? Well, GP is almost back, so GP can always set up the freeze if she pushes, and let's say she recalls, this wave is actually bouncing back into the GP. So when Riven is recalling and walking back to lane, she's actually already losing out simply because the wave is bouncing away from her. And if GP right now plays with his fundamentals, so that will be his wave management and then his recall timers, then this GP is getting a lead from this position guaranteed. If he just looks to just slow push this and crash this, yes, he should do 4 waves, exactly Claypro. Like I'm saying, he should do 4 waves. If he crashes this in wave 4, recalls, he gets ahead guaranteed. And this is what I mean. Riven is forced to make a bad decision. What I mean with that, she's forced to either catch and recall, but she loses because the wave bounces back to GP, she loses minions, and she comes back to a terrible lane position, or she's forced to catch the wave and try and hard push it back, but GP recalls and comes back with an item lead and will just simply hold it and freeze. So regardless of what GP decides to do, or what Riven decides to do here, she is screwed if the GP plays fundamentally correct. However, yes, this is already doomed for Riven. If this is a challenger top laner right now, it's already doomed for Riven. The lane is already pretty much screwed from this, because of how bad she played level 1. If this GP plays very appropriately here, it's already GG, pretty much. However, look, he starts hard pushing. And this is a complete troll. There's no reason for him to hard push, right? Absolutely no incentive for him to hard push. Besides maybe trying to poke the Riven under the turret, but that makes no sense. Because hard pushing here for GP only sets him up into a position where he can be potentially be ganked, and also now he doesn't get his free Sheen recall, right? GP wants to crash on wave 4 or wave 3, but if he needs wave 3 crash, he needs to have all the minions, so preferably wave 4, and he can just recall, get Sheen, walk back, lose nothing, and GG, right? Because he's playing Flash and Ignite, he cannot simply TP back. So now GP hard pushes. Now he's already stuck on the turret. Sure, it's a lot harder for Riven to farm, but this also makes him vulnerable to ganks. Okay. Well. Okay, so I think here, for Riven's POV, right? This is the mistakes that she made herself. I think she went a little bit too early here. I think she should just be playing this out very slow. This GP is guaranteed dead. Why? Because how many minions does GP right now need for his level 3? How many minions does he need? Do you guys know the level of timers at the top of your head? How many minions from this wave does the GP need to get his level 3? 2? Exactly. This is Diamond 3 elo. No, Diamond 2 elo even. This is Diamond 2 elo. Exactly. She needs 2 waves, right? Now, Riven confirmed that the GP has Q level 1 and that GP has E level 2. Evelynn is already behind. Realistically, what Riven should do here is just dodge this barrel, get her level 2, and kill the GP, right? She just has to play slow here. However, she's getting hit by the Q. She gets hit by the barrel. Gets hit by the pass. Now she gets a level 2 that she was just supposed to get anyways, right? Look, the turret did their job. She didn't even do it. Only thing Riven has to do is just play for a level up timer here, right? The turret doesn't work for her. But now she got hit by the passive, hit by Ignite, hit by 3 auto attacks, and she dies. Lane here is pretty much already over for Riven. It's kind of hard for GP. Evelynn can somewhat freeze it. But the thing is, Evelynn already exposed her bot side 2 now. If Elise plays correctly here, she just clears entire enemy bot side 2. And like Evelynn is completely out of the game, right? So just from this position already, the game will completely snowball. Because Riven also doesn't get a good purchase. GP will actually get his Sheen. And the wave will already feel very hard to play. And this is why I have 2 golden rules in top lane, right? The first 4 waves matter the most. If something goes right in those first 4 waves in top lane, your game will feel very nice to play, right? Because you get ahead, you get a good recall. For example, if this GP played correctly, he could already win his lane as early as level 4 simply by playing fundamentally correct, right? And if you fall behind in those first 4 waves, your lane feels terrible to play. Right now, Riven has no summoners, gets no good recall, is facing a Sheen GP, is behind in EXP, is behind in gold. How do you get back, right? That's why those first 4 waves matter so much, and that's why they're so important. That's why we always leave a late ward to see what both junglers are doing, and yeah. So now he's screwed. He goes for fillable, sure. The wave is at least frozen for him, so in that sense he is lucky, right? GP actually lost a lot, but still GP is in a favorable spot here. Elise actually ended up clearing nothing. Evelynn can still clear here, so she is also lucky. I think the Elise should be invading this Evelynn right now, or they should be doing something. However, maybe Elise did something else. I didn't check. Elise killed bot lane. Okay, so that's the other advantage they get, right? So they killed enemy bot lane, sure. GP comes back. First thing you do, every time, guys, very important habit, I taught this to Brace as well. First thing you do every time when your lane opponent comes back is check his items, right? Once you've seen his items, then you can make a plan on how you want to play it. Let's say you had like, I don't know, Cole plus only a Cole here, right? Then you could still play. If he has Sheen, yeah, good luck playing here, right? So the wave is bouncing towards the GP. That means Riven is forced to walk up for last hits, and this is probably the hardest position to play, right? What does GP want to do? What is GP's goal here, guys? Simply put, he always wants to make sure that this wave keeps pushing towards him. 3 reasons why the wave pushing towards GP is good here. First and foremost, Riven is forced to walk up for every last hit that he wants, meaning that that GP can always free poke, right? Because if Riven is forced to walk up for last hits, GP can always poke for free. Second thing, if GP lets this crash towards him, right, and if it keeps going like this, let's say he keeps letting the slow push go like this, right, eventually the wave will maybe be standing like right here. If the wave is right here, Riven is extremely gankable. However, look, GP is never gankable, right? So if GP just makes sure to never thin out this wave too much, but still keep thinning it out, because if he doesn't thin out, the wave becomes too big, right? So he has to thin out a little bit to always make sure that she still has more means, but not too many more, and that this wave keeps pushing towards him, and in the meantime, completely harass this Riven. Now, he has to be careful of a repeat Evelyn gank, but if this GP also paid attention, he knows that Evelyn cleared these 3 camps, right? He should have this information, because Evelyn had 12 CS, right? And a red buff. If Evelyn has 12 CS and a red buff, he knows that this is her only camps that she has cleared right now, and that means that she's going into bot side, right? So GP, if he's smart, he should notice that Evelyn is going to be clearing these 3 camps and then probably heading back into top side. So Evelyn won't be here for another minute, realistically speaking. Maybe 1 minute to 1.5, right? Because if you see, Evelyn is on the blue buff right now. It should take a long time before she's back into top side. So GP can do whatever he wants. His job right now is to communicate to his jungler that Riven has no flash, this wave is bouncing into him, and he's in heaven right now. So all he has to do, this barrel I hate, right? This barrel is terrible. Because now the wave is already pushing back to Riven. And if it's pushing back to Riven, she can at least farm, right? Sure, it's under her turret, and GP can suffer, or can pressure and like perma Q poke. However, it's still much better to let this wave bounce in towards him, because then Riven is extremely gankable, and he is never gankable. Plus, Riven is forced to walk up for last hit, and whenever Riven is forced to walk up for last hits, that's when you really get those solo kills, because your opponents are just so pressured, because they either lose out continuously and they still get the Q in their face whenever they walk up, or they just get literally nothing, right? So I hate this barrel. I think it's a terrible barrel to do. This is terrible, right? And this is a diamond to a GP. All he had to do was just make this wave push towards him. So what GP should have done instead is just keep up like this. Keep this up. Right? Walk up, maybe put the barrel here, and make sure that he doesn't AoE the full wave whenever he's barreling like this. So now, GP is playing in this pocket, right? He's very gankable here. Now, if he's keeping track of Evelyn, then it's fine. Another thing they could potentially do is dive here with Elise. So let's say the plan here is to dive with Elise, then this could be a good play, right? If that is the plan, then I understand what they're doing here. If that's not the plan, Riven just kind of gets to play for free here again. Oh, Elise is bot. No, Elise is mid. Oh, now. So what should GP do now with this information? They just killed mid. I'm pretty sure Evelyn is already recalled. We don't see that, but I'm pretty sure Evelyn is already recalled. Okay, yeah. Elise is moving into bot side now. What should this GP do? What should this GP be looking at right now? Where should his eye be located? His eyes. Hard shove? Is it hard shove? This Elise is probably coming top to dive. So, before ever pushing a hard wave, before ever hard pushing a wave, the first thing you want to do, guys, is actually check your minimap. Now, if GP, right now, if you are in GP's position, and you check your minimap, you actually see that the wave is right here, right? This is where the wave is at right now. This is where the wave is at. What GP can do is actually slow push this means at the latest frames possible, and if he does that, that will allow this wave to walk up, right? So he's allowing, so this is where Riven's wave is at right now. He will allow this to walk up, right? I'm gonna remove this right now so you guys get a better clear view, and this wave will walk up right now and will also halt here, but GP can still clear it. So if GP slow pushes this, right, and then also pushes this next wave, then GP will be level 5, Riven will be level 3, she gets to clear nothing of this, and they dive her without her having a minion wave. A minion wave can still make the dive pretty hard, right? Because Elise can miss her cocoon, stuff like that. Sure, it's an Elise, it should be relatively easy, but still you get the point. So before ever pushing a wave, all I'm doing is actually checking my minimap and making a plan according. So right here, GP should slow push. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to hard push. And he is. So you see the mistake here? He could have kept the slow pushed and also push this wave and make Riven even more vulnerable, right? Now Riven has a wave to play with. He's not level 5 yet. She can kind of still farm here and can kind of play here. If he just slow pushed it, she would be in so much more trouble. Yeah, it's still going to be a dive, but now GP has to clear the wave first, right? So it's to work with the wave. It ends up working. I think it could have been cleaner. If Evelyn comes here, it's harder. He types the XD in chat. But this is all the result. This is all a result of what happened at level 1. Yo, Brace. Welcome, Chief. We're doing your VOD. So yeah, this is all a result of what happened at level 1. And now the game's over, pretty much. From here on out, laning phase is over. The only way Riven can get back in this game is by GP making mistakes and not Riven doing something appropriately. So this is why, guys, those first 4 waves are extremely important. They are the most crucial thing. And if you want to learn to win games on Riven, most of my games are won in level 4 unless the matchup prevents me from doing so, right? And also, most of the games that I lose are probably also lost in the first 4 waves because I'm doing something inappropriate and that snowballs the rest of the laning phase. At least for laning phase, unless you make grievous mistakes later on, right? If you play the laning phase out correctly, the rest of the laning phase, then you're completely screwed. So, this is this. I want to try and do this more often. If you want to submit your own VODs to me, join the Discord and there's like a channel where you can send me your VODs, right? Send me your VODs and every stream I want to do 1 or 2 VODs where we just basically look at what happened and why and what we can learn from it. And now my question to you is, what did you guys think of it? Do you guys think this was educative? Do you guys think this was, in a sense, interactive? Because that's my goal, right? I want to do educative content that is also a bit more interactive, where you guys have to think and also channel your brain. And then whilst you're doing that, you guys will ultimately learn more as well. Do you coach Riven only? No, I coach every champion in top lane. I played League professionally. You learned a bunch. There you go. Very educative. I like this. Lovely. We'll start doing this every stream. We'll do this every now and then. So, yeah, I'm going to hold it there.
Okay, guys, that's it. Don't forget to get the coaching. You won't regret it. How many of you guys have spent money on skins that don't do anything when you can actually get coaching that will actually improve you? I was one of those people. Bought Alois's coaching, and now I've gotten better at the game, and I'm working for him now. If you're not convinced, just check Metafy. There's lots and lots of people who have said some really great stuff about Alois's coaching. Okay, guys. Adios.